Hello there, it's Karen here, also known as Crafty Little Miss K, and I am doing some filming today to prepare for a blog hop that I'm taking part in next week. We are doing 3D Easter items, and if you go to my blog, which will be, the link will be down below, you can go and have a look at my blog, see a bit of information about these items and the reason why I did it, and then further down in the list you'll see a list of names where you can click on the next button or click on their names, and it will take you to lots of different blogs to give you lots and lots of lovely ideas for Easter. They're wonderful people that I hop with, and they're going to have some fantastic ideas, so please do that. At the end of this video, if you liked what you've seen, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe so that you can see more of my items. I love doing 3D items. Occasionally I'll do cards as well. I've got lots of ideas coming up very soon, and we are currently in Stampin' Up, we're currently towards the end of Celebration, and that's where if you order £45 worth of gear, you get items for free. And although I don't have any free items in this video, you'll see other items where I am. In my other projects, you'll see I've already used some of the butterfly papers that were free and some other bits and pieces as well. Anyway, let's get on with the project. So the project are these Easter boxes, and if I just tilt them up, you can see Easter greetings, and there's a couple of little hollow eggs. They're just slightly larger than I've not got a cream egg to compare with because I tend to eat them, so I haven't bought any. So, but these ones are hollow eggs. They're just from the local supermarket to me, and they were actually bought to do an Easter egg hunt, so I've got a box full of them over here. If I just show you, I'm not going to show you the supermarket, but you can see there's loads and loads in there. And yeah, let's get started. So for those two, I used the Fabled Friends stamp set, which is in the Spring Summer catalogue, and that runs through until June time, I think it is. Anyway, so it's got a beautiful little rabbit, which is very reminiscent of Peter Rabbit, although obviously I don't know if that's allowed to say that because of copyright, but as you can see, it's all beautiful springtime things. I've even got a little bit of grass here, which I'm going to be using today. My Easter greeting comes from here. I realised this is the only stamp set I've got that's got the word Easter on it. Isn't that crazy? Out of all the stamps, I've got a lot of stamp sets. Anyway, so I'm using the grass. I'm just going to take that out. I've already got the Easter greetings mounted up onto my block, ready to go. And today, these two boxes were for my youngest grandson, who's 1.5 years, and my granddaughter, who's 4. But I'm making a slightly different colour, and I'm not putting Peter Rabbit on the next one because it's for my oldest grandson, who's 7. And I'm going to be going with a really rich green colour, which is Call Me Clover, which is one of the current Stampin' Up in colours for 2018 to 2020. So we've got another year's worth of use for this colour. And I'm going to be using So Hoppy Together, which is a Celebration item. So if you ordered £45 worth of gear, you could get this for free. And I've used this a lot privately, and I'm not sure if I put it on any of my videos yet. I don't think I have, but I've used it a lot privately, and I've been very brave because I've used this. I'm going to be using this frog here on his unicycle, but I have cut him off his unicycle, which is something I've never done before, and you know what, is the most scary thing I've done in my whole life. Anyway, so I'm going to be using just the frog. He will fit together like a jigsaw if I want him back on the unicycle, but for today he's going to be jumping up for joy because it's Easter. So let's get him onto the block ready. Okay, so yes, the cardstock I'm using is 6 inches by 6 inches, which is 15 by 15 if you're in centimetres. I'm also using the layering circles framelets, and they are here, and I've got the largest scallop circle, and I've got the second largest plain circle, and I have cut 3 from the scallop and 1 from the plain circle. The reason being, at the front of this box, if I pick out the pink one, the front of this box, it's actually got a little bit of stability to it, so it's nice and sturdy. I got this idea for this box from Angie Judah, who's an American Stampin' Up demonstrator, and she used the little rabbit as well, but I'm going to mix it up a little bit today. But I've also put just a single layer of the colour on the back. So I've used another circle just to put on the back, just to make it match up a bit. I may or may not, because it's a little bit flimsy still, I may or may not just put another layer in after I finish videoing. I'll see how I feel. So that's my 3 circles there, and then I've got my white circle to do the stamping on the front, which is obviously for the frog. And then just finally, what Angie suggested to do to help hold your ribbon on, because I've used the flax ribbon, I'll show you that in a second, she's used brads. Now I don't actually have any Stampin' Up! Brads, so I've got it dug deep into my stash, my pre-Stampin' Up! Stash, and I've got some brads here because I've got another box to make after this one. But because I'm a bit aware that these are for children, these boxes, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, if I just move this egg out, I've actually put a circle of card over the brad tines, legs on the inside there, so little fingers can't get caught on them and everything. And I've just punched those out using my 3/4 inch circle punch. So leave it off to one side. So let's move everything slightly out of the way a bit. Move them so I don't lose them. I've lost somewhere on my desk, in amongst the mess I've got on my desk to the side, I've lost the 2 smaller circles on here. So I'm quite devastated because I use them a lot as well. So first of all, let's bring up my scoring board. Let's make sure I don't lose those brads by going slightly to the side of them. And I'm going to be scoring at 1.5, wrong end, on each of the 4 sides. Just make sure you push right up into the corner. Okay. And then, oh, I don't need that now, so I'll put that, keep that on there so I don't lose it. And then just going to do, as you would normally do if you were doing a box, just make sure you fold and really give those score lines a good press. They make them nice and sharp, the corners and the edges. If it was a bag, I would probably just use my fingers, but I want a nice sharp edge. Okay, and then with my scissors, I'm just going to cut slightly inside that bumpy line. If you turn it, that's the way that I've scored it. So I've turned it upside down so you can see like there's like the bumpy edge, if you like. And I'm just going to cut just inside that score line there. Sorry, excuse me. Just so you've got a nice straight edge on your box on the corner. And then I'm just going to cut out little wedges to make it so that when it comes over like that, you don't have it sitting proud. There's a little tiny bit there which I might just snip off a little bit more. That's better. So that when you do your corner, it sits just beautifully like that. Okay, and then once I've done that, you can either turn, what's that, clockwise, or you can turn anti-clockwise if you're left-handed, and away you go to the next one. And just go and continue this all the way around. So I shall be seeing my 3 youngest grandchildren probably sometime over Easter. They live about an hour away from me, but my oldest one, I only get to see him occasionally because I always make sure he never gets left out. So he might be a little late getting his Easter project, but he will definitely get his Easter eggs. Okay, so I'm going to use wet glue. Right, so yeah, you can use tearing tape or you can use wet glue like I've done. I wouldn't use the snail because although it's very good glue, this just needs a little bit something extra sturdy just to hold it in place. And I'm just going to push that in a bit, so hopefully I'm not coming off camera. Okay, and then once I've got that there, just to make sure, I'm just going to give it a good old press inside just to make sure that glue really adheres to both sides of the card and sticks really, really well. Okay, and that's the basis of the box done. So yeah, the flax ribbon, this is beautiful. It's like white version of the burlap ribbon, and it's quite thick. It's quite an open weave on here. So Angie suggested you use about 8.5 inches, which I'm going to stick with. And then she also suggested, which I thought was a brilliant idea, just use a glue dot to hold it in place before you put your brad on. So thank you for that little tip, Angie. Make sure you put the glue dot on the same side as you put it at the other end. And then just choose a side, it doesn't matter which side, that's quite a nice... I might put it on this side actually, and I'm just going to put it just a little ways down, but roughly in the middle. I'm not going to be precious and measure it. And do the same on the other side. You could pop it on the inside if you prefer, because you're going to have that circle of card there anyway to hide it, if you do the same as me. And then with my piercing tool, about in the middle, so sort of halfway down and halfway across this way, I'm just going to make a wee hole, which actually is right on top of the glue. I can feel it sticking. And without punching a hole in my finger, I'm just going to make a little hole there, and the same on this side. That's it. And then I can make sure that the legs of the brads go in. Stampin' Up! Do their own brads. They stopped them for a while, but they've started them again now, but I haven't got around to getting them yet, so I'm just using these old ones from, like I said, from my pre-Stampin' Up! Days. Okay, so you can clearly see the legs in there, hopefully. Let's make sure, if you stand up, because I can never tell because the light's in my eyes. Yeah, you can see the brad's legs are there, and to make sure that they don't catch on my grandson's fingers, I'm just going to put a little circle of card over the top. Let's lift it up so I can place it without me get my fingers in the way. Just place it over the top and just give it a good old press down. You might see the ribbon start to shake in a minute because I'm pressing quite hard. There you go, see, like that, just to make sure it stays. And then the same on the other side. That's it. In there like that. Again, good press down. It helps make sure that the legs have been flattened as well. And there we are. So nice and safe for little fingers. There's no way he's going to catch his fingers on that unless he tries to peel it off. But I think, as this is my oldest grandson, at 7, I think he'd know better than to do that. Okay, let's move everything out of the way. Right, so we're going to do the circles now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue up both of these two. Make sure you get it the right way round, because when you die cut these, there's a smooth edge and then there's a bit of a raised edge. Make sure it's the raised edge that's on the inside, just because it looks nicer, no other reason. Okay, and then just pop one all the way down to the bottom of the box and press it against the side. It's all the way down. And then this one, I'm just going to lay it on its side so I can match up that scalloped edge, so we get that nice definition. And of course it's not going to go first time either, is it? On the blue one and the pink, well, the pink one was slightly off, but the blue one went beautifully. There we go. That's it. And then again with the bone folder, just press all that down. There we are. And that's that bit done. And then for the back, just glue halfway, or just under halfway up the scallop circle. And then just make sure that goes at the bottom. Make sure you got it the right way, so that it goes parallel with the side of the box, and then just put it all the way to the bottom, give it a little press, and then again in with your bone folder just to make sure it adheres nicely, and it kind of like makes it nice, much more even. So we'll leave that for now. We'll come back to the rest of that in a moment. What I want to do now is get my pads ready and get my ink, which seems to have disappeared. There it is. So I'm using Memento Black because I'm going to do a bit of colouring with the blender pens, and this is the ink you need to use. So let's ink him up. Oh golly, I've got ink on my fingers and it's just gone on the circle. Right, so I'm just going to, obviously there's a bit of a raised edge, so I'm just going to press that down with my bone folder so it's nice and smooth like on the other side. That's it. Let's make sure there's nothing. That's it, that's lovely. Okay, let's give it a little, make sure I don't get ink on it again. So he's going to be jumping for joy. So without bumping my camera, I'm just going to place him roughly in the middle, like that. And then I'm actually going to get, oh my life, then I'm going to get my Call Me Clover, the matching, yeah, where is it? There it is. The matching ink to go with the card. This is why I love Stampin' Up, because everything matches. Don't have to worry about it being a different colour, but green. And I'm just going to do a bit of grass at the bottom here, and you can just overlap it a little bit, it doesn't really matter, just to sort of give the impression that he's jumping for joy. I'm just going to grab a bit of paper so I don't mark my nice pristine backing paper here. Yeah, so nice lots of grass. So as you can see, there we go. Doesn't have to be perfect. Right, let's just close that, because you can see what I'm like with ink. I get it everywhere. That's it. And I'm just going to give these two stamps a bit of a clean. This is my chamois, and as you can see, it is well loved. All you need to do as it dries out, it comes sort of damp in its little bag. but as it dries out, all you need to do is just run it under some cold water or some warm water. I find warm water seems to soak in a bit quicker for some reason, I don't know why. And then that's it, you don't have to add anything else to it. Okay, let's bring back Froggy because he should be dry now. Alright, I don't have Call Me Clover pens. I'm going to use light old olive and I think light granny apple green. Okay, because yeah, he's a frog. And then for his tummy can be the lighter colour. And I love these pens because I don't know if you've ever used felt tips when you were younger, but they always seem to leave streaky marks when you were colouring in using them. So, but these don't, they dry smooth, which is why they're called blender pens. Right, so I'm just going to do his little extremities in the lighter, in this lighter green as well. Right, and then I'm going to come in with the, if I can get it undone. They are nice and tight, the lids, because obviously they don't want to dry out. Just bring it in. I'm just going to blend that in a little bit, and you do that just by going over the colours. When that dries, you won't be able to see where that joined. Okay, so the fine tip is ideal for when you're doing little areas. So he looks a bit blotchy at the moment, but by the time he dries, he's going to be lovely. There we go. And I'm just going to make his head, just going to go over his head again, just to make that just a little bit darker, that colour, like that. There we are. So, and that's him done. I'm not going to do anything else to him. So I'm just going to stick it, make sure you use the thicker side of the box. And as you can see, it's bled through. So it's always important to make sure if you're using a white surface like my top here, you always put something between you and your surface so it doesn't bleed onto your surface, your work surface. And then the joy of using wet glue is that you can just give it a little wiggle, and that might make him a bit more jaunty. That's it. And then again, lay him down, give him a press, and there we are. That's him done. So just need a little bit of shredded paper. I've got some left over from last year or the year before. I can't remember when these were. This was in the catalogue, but you can buy this stuff anywhere. Any shop will have it. And then that's that. And then just finally, just grab a couple of eggs. Because it's a boy, we'll have a blue and the green like in my other grandsons. And I could probably, actually, because he's a bit older, probably get 3 in there. Just sitting up. There we go. Isn't that great? So nice and plain. You can add designer series paper if you wish. I like them plain. I've done this one with designer series paper, as you can see. But most of it's hidden anyway underneath these big circles, so I haven't bothered putting it on. So there we are. He's going to love that. Whoops. I mean, if you've got an Easter egg hunt and you've got smaller eggs, you know, like the smaller wrapped ones, then you could maybe use these as empty box bags for the children to run around looking for their eggs. Yeah, or you could just fill it with little mini eggs. It's entirely up to you. So there we go. I can't tilt these up because I'll try. Let's get a couple of blocks. But I don't think it's going to work anyway, tilting them up. But there we go. Oh, no, I have to lay them down. So there we are. So I've got one more to make. So I've got 4 grandchildren. And then I can get on to something else. I just realised they're off the screen. There we go. Let's move them down a little bit. So there we are. Some really cute little Easter boxes. Like I said at the beginning, do go down to my blog, which is linked down below. Have a look at the other people in the blog hop. Get some more ideas. Like I said, they're going to have some amazing stuff, and it's all 3D. So it's all things you can make to give as Easter gifts, not only just for children, probably for adults as well. That's what I'm going to be working on. It suddenly occurred to me that when I was doing the green box, I forgot to do the Easter greetings on it. So I have actually finished that now, and I've also made another blue one for my other grandson who's 6. So this one, all I've done is I've just stamped it onto a piece of card, cut it right down, and then it's just a couple of dimensionals on there, just so it sits a little proud of the picture, and then it can just either go there or there. I've got 2 this side, so I'm going to put this one this side. So there we are. So if I just bring them all back in now, so you can see I have actually done them all, and I've given them all 3 eggs because they sit just nice in the box, as you can see. So that's all of them I've done now. Let's just come out of this a little bit. Sorry for the wobble there. So there you go. And my granddaughter's got a couple of little floral stick-on sequins as well. That's from Stampin' Up too. So there we go. That's all my 4 grandchildren sorted out now. Well, they're going to get other eggs as well, but this is going to be the little cutesy thing that they have. So yeah, please do go look at the blog hop. And if you haven't already subscribed, do subscribe so you don't miss all this kind of fun stuff. I love doing fun stuff. Anyway, hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.